In basketball, believe it or not, your height really does matter. No matter what anybody tells you, you can be as skilled as you want to be. If you're way too tall, or if you're way too short, it's going to be really hard to make it into the league. I think in today's video, I kind of show that. I'm going into NBA 2K22. I'm showing you guys the best player at every single height according to the game, right, based off of their ratings. But I wanted to do way more than just that, because that's too easy. You could go into NBA 2K22 and just see who's the best player at a height. That's easy. I went a step further. I'm also showing you the average rating for every single height in the NBA and who is the most common height in the NBA. That's what I'm doing in today's video as well. If you like anything I show you today, hey, consider joining the pack and subscribing. That'd be amazing. And leave a like on the video. Sadly, it helps videos grow. It's a whole process of making videos reach more people is when you like the video, so please do that. Alright, so I'm going to start from the shortest player, then we're going to go to the tallest player, because you know how short people get. They get offended, you know what I mean? So we're going to start off with the shortest players in the NBA, 5'9", and it's Isaiah Thomas, who's a 77 overall. Isaiah Thomas is the shortest player in the NBA, and even though he's not currently with an NBA team, he did play for the Lakers this season. So he did get minutes in the NBA this season, and he's gotten a chance a couple times, and here he is as a free agent now as the shortest player in the league. Now he is the highest rated free agent in the game as well at a 77 overall. And you gotta remember, even though he's 5'9", and almost everybody on this list that's short is gonna be bad, that doesn't change the fact that he was a 30-point per game scorer with the Celtics for a season, and he led them to a conference finals. To be honest, that's damn impressive for his height. You have to admit that. No one has done what he has done at his height. Now there's two NBA players that are this height, so the average rating for people who are 5'9" is a 75 overall, which is pretty low. Up next is 5'10". There are 4 NBA players that are 5'10", but Facundo Campazzo at a 75 overall is the highest rated player in the league at that height. The average rating for players at height is a 70 overall, and I feel like we all know that one dude that's 5'10", and we swear if he was 6 feet tall, he'd be in the league. It's true that it's hard because there's only 4 NBA players that are this short that are in the league. And Campazzo's, you know, a 75 overall, so even if you're that high, it's going to be still really hard to be a great player. But Campazzo's in the league because of how hard he plays, right? And many people will hate players like that because they play way too hard, and that's why he's one of the most hated players in the NBA. I mean, he has that Napoleon complex, but it works for him and his game. Up next, 5'11", we have DJ Augustin, who's a 73 overall. So also a really low rated player. There are 7 5'11" players in the league, a 70.9 average rating, which is also pretty low. But I'm gonna give you a fact about DJ Augustin right now. Even though he's 5'11", I guarantee you he puts 6 foot on his Tinder profile. Guaranteed. In all seriousness, it's really impressive for how good he's been for so long in the NBA. And he's been this height. I mean, he's been in the league for a while, a good like 13 seasons. It's pretty impressive. But you know, I've been talking about height. I think it's important to bring up the sponsor for today's video, and that is FlexiSpot. So FlexiSpot have been clutch and provided me with this amazing desk that I can use for gaming, I can use for work. Technically, I use for both, and it is fire. It's fire. Now, I got a tier 2 standing desk. It's black. So basically, I have one little row of it where I have my keyboard, my mouse, my mic, and then another row where I can set up my monitors, and it just feels professional. And it's super easy to make. It's crazy. I literally got it in a box, and it took me, what, 45 minutes to make? I'm gonna tell you something right now. Other companies and other desks, I'm married, all right? My wife makes me build the furniture all the time. Takes you hours and hours to build with complicated instructions. It was weird. It's like they gave me the box and it just had pieces, but like built pieces already that you just had to connect, and then you were good to go. This took me like 45 minutes. It's actually pretty light for the most part, but sturdy at the same time. So I was able to actually like build this by myself. Didn't need any help. It's clutch. It's a really nice desk. It's sturdy. You can see me moving it around and it really just doesn't move. I'm a pretty long guy, right? I'm tall. So I can make the desk go higher and then lower if I'm shorter. You can go on Amazon right now. There's literally a bunch of different colors. You can get a white one with a wooden accent. You can get a gray one with a wooden accent, or you can be clutch like me and get the black one, which is the best one. I'm just keep it real. It is 100% recommended by me. You know that I don't sponsor things unless I think they're really nice, and this desk is really, really nice. So do yourself a favor, if you game or if you work at home, I guarantee your life is going to change if you get the FlexiSpot desk. Check it out. Now back to the video. We're gonna go with the 6-foot players, the kings themselves. CP3 is a 90 overall. Now there's 6 NBA players that are 6 foot tall, so it's kind of weird there's less 6 foot tall players and 5'11" players. That's actually interesting. That doesn't really make sense now that you think about it. But either way, it goes to show you that even if you're 6 foot tall, it's still really hard to make it into the league unless you're a god like Chris Paul. There's 15 NBA players that are 6'1", and the average rating is an 80.7 overall average, which is pretty high. My people, 6'1" gang, let's go. This is officially the height you should consider taking your talents to the NBA. For real, there's a good amount of players that officially started this height. Like, this is the NBA height, right? But you're gonna have to be really athletic or fast like Trae Young if you're gonna want to make it into the league, and obviously super skilled. But at this point, this is the height that you're gonna see a lot of players coming in. At 6'2", we have Kyrie Irving. You're going to notice that a lot of players from the Nets are on this list. But 6'2", Kyrie Irving, 91 overall. There's 11 NBA players who are 6'2", and the average rating is an 80.6. 6'2" is a funny height. You know, first of all, I thought Kyrie was 6'3", so I guess I was wrong about that. But I feel like this is the most uncommon height ever, right? Again, there's only 11 NBA players at this height. This is my theory. If you're 6'2", then you play like a big man your whole life because you were probably tall in middle school and high school, and so they treated you like a center and they made you play center or at least power forward. And then once you get into college, because you were pretty good enough, you have all the skills of a big man but not a guard, and you're supposed to be a guard at 6'2". So it's really rare for someone to be 6'2" and your school to treat you like a guard. At 6'3", it is Steph Curry, 96 overall. Yeah, there's 22 NBA players who are 6'3". Now we're getting to a lot of them. And there's 80.3 average overall rating. This is officially the NBA height. This is the most common. There's like a gap of heights, and 6'3" is where it starts, where the common NBA player is at. I think I officially consider someone being 6'3" as a tall person. Most of you are probably under 6'3". Now imagine Steph Curry, who's basically short in the NBA, and is taller than us, is faster than us, has a quicker shot than us. Like, that's so weird to think about, that there's someone that is bigger than us and taller than us and is way more athletic. At 6'4", we have Bradley Beal. This is actually one of the more lower rated players for their height in this video, but 87 overall, still pretty good. There's 26 NBA players at 6'4", but the average rating is a 78.3, so it kind of drops off a little bit. I feel like this is officially the shooting guard height. I feel like if you're above 6'3", you're not a point guard anymore, and they make you a shooting guard. At 6'5", we have James Harden, who's a 91 overall. So 33 NBA players at 6'5", and the average rating is 78.7. Yeah, this is the most common height in the NBA. And when you think about it, you could play 4 different positions at this height. So it doesn't really it really shouldn't be a surprise. I mean, you could be a point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward at this height. If you're at this height, you should officially think you have a solid chance of making it in the NBA. For 6'6", we have DeMar DeRozan, 90 overall. There's 25 NBA players at this height, and there's an 80.2 average rating. This is where we start getting into the forwards height, but this is still a very, very common height, and the average ratings are really high here. At 6'7", we have Kawhi Leonard, who when healthy is a 95 overall. There's 25 NBA players at this height, and it's an 80.8 average. This is still a very, very common height, and Kawhi Leonard is leading that. There's also Luka Doncic assuming like today's NBA, like today when everyone's healthy, Luka Doncic has the highest rating. But Kawhi, when healthy, is. At 6'8", we have Jason Tatum. Actually, I was surprised Jason Tatum was higher than Kawhi. I did not know that. But there's 31 NBA players at this height, and there's a 79.7 average. There's a ton of players at this height, but it's surprising that there's no superstar at this height. I mean, you could say Jason Tatum's a superstar, but he's more of an all-star. But think about it. Like, you would have to be this height and be super athletic to be a superstar. And that's why it's pretty rare. And that's why at 6'9", LeBron James is different. He's a 96 overall, 6'9". LeBron is the only one at this height doing what he can do like a guard. And there's other players that I'm gonna mention that are taller, but LeBron his ability to do what he does at his height, I think, is second to none as like a guard. Because, you know, he's one of the best playmakers of all time. He can play like a guard. No one else above him can do that. There's 23 NBA players of this height. The average rating is a 79 overall, which just makes LeBron even more impressive, and that's why he's one of the GOATs. At 6'10", we have Kevin Durant, who's a 96 overall when healthy. And there's 23 NBA players of this height, an 80 overall average. And Kevin Durant's not even fair. And to just be able to create your shot like no problem, and let's be real, he might be even taller than 6'10", is terrifying. He's not fair. At 6'11", we have Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's a 97 overall, the highest rated player in the NBA. There's 25 NBA players at this height, an 80.6 average, and there is a reason why Giannis is the most dominant player in the NBA right now. And that is because he has at the height of a center. Like if you get all the other players of this height, they're all centers, like all of them. And Giannis is as fast as a guard and is as strong as most bigs. That is why Giannis Antetokounmpo is the most dominant player in the league. At 7 foot tall, we begin the drop off of NBA players. There's only 16 players at 7 feet tall, 78.4 average, and Embiid is the player. A 96 overall, is looking like an MVP candidate right now. And they used to say the 10% of all 7-footers in the entire world were in the NBA, but you're gonna see how rare it is the higher we go to get even above 7 foot tall. At 7'1", we have Rudy Gobert, 90 overall. He's carrying the 7'1" players really hard because there's only 3 and they have an average of an 80.3, and the only reason it's that high is because of Rudy. This is the rarities. I actually didn't even know Rudy Gobert was 7'1". I thought he was 7 foot flat. So even more impressive. Super rare to be that tall and good. At 7'2", we have Moses Brown, 73 overall. Now you're noticing that these like ratings and players are dropping off because now there's only 3 NBA players that have a height of 7'2". Moses Brown doesn't have a face scan in the game, which is messed up. But I feel like players at this height are starting to lose their worth in today's NBA, where they expect to be a lot faster and a shooter. I mean, just 10 years ago, 7'2" was like a really good height, and like Roy Hibbert was like the last good 7'2" player. Staying on the Mavericks, and we're gonna be here for a while. At 7'3", it is Kristaps Porzingis, an 86 overall. There is one player in the league who's 7'3". You know who he is, and there's a reason why we call him the unicorn. He's different. We're gonna stay with the Mavericks again at 7'4". There is one NBA player that is 7'4", and that is Boban as a 74 overall. That's funny. He is in the NBA because he is very tall. And yes, he's not fast. He's a little strong. He has kind of a post game, but he gets minutes because of his height. And he does a good job with it. And the last player at 7'5" is Taco Fall, 71 overall. There is one player that's 7'5", and it's Taco. And he's technically a free agent now, but he did play with the Cavs this season. And Taco Fall is by far the tallest in the league. That's everything. What do you think about this? Leave it in the comments below. If you like my channel, please give it a sub, and I'll see you guys next time.